man, ladies and gentlemen. Wow. Okay. No introduction needed, but I'm gonna do it one time. I'm here with the man for real. Guys, if you know anything about photography and DFW, you've probably seen this man's work. He's been on stages. We're gonna start there. He does a lot more too, but he's been on stages with names like, Miles Minnick, John Keith, No Big Deal, 1K Few, and many, many, many others. But before we getting to know this young man, I want y'all to make some noise one time for the one and only Mr. Eric Wakocha. Yes, sir. You know I had to. You like that? You like that? We gonna run it back.
For sure.
Man, thank you for being here, bro.
For sure. Appreciate you, bro, for having me.
How'd you like the intro? Was it cool?
This is crazy.
Yeah, is this your first like experience kind of doing? You're usually behind the camera.
Yeah, I didn't produce, I didn't make podcasts before, but this is my first time being on here for real. So yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, man. How's life been treating you lately? What have you been up to? I noticed on the IG not too long ago, you didn't go ghost or nothing, but you took a little. It seemed from the outside looking in, it seemed like you took a little break.
Yeah.
You took some time off, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
So what was that like? How did you come into doing that? And then where are you with that now?
For sure. So every so often, with like the work that I do, just because I put a lot of effort into the stuff that I do. And sometimes like it calls, like there's times where the Lord will tell me, will call for me to like take a step back, take a break, really so that I can rest, but also so that I can remember and like continue to keep like the Lord at the focus of what it is that I'm doing. Because like being on IG, constantly like trying to, book here, do this, get to this show, connect with this person, do this, that, and the third. And then just how Instagram, social media in general is.
It's a lot.
Not only is it a lot, but everyone is screaming, like trying to like put themselves on their own pedestal.
No, facts.
And for me, it's like I didn't start even being on IG. I didn't start following the Lord. I didn't start like taking pictures or anything like that, or doing any of the stuff that I do to like,
be seen.
To be seen for my own self or to glorify my own self. So the moment that, in the flesh, I get too wrapped up in like trying to book this, get here, go here, that's always a time where the Lord is like, Eric, you need to step back. Even if it doesn't have to be for a year, it doesn't have to be for heck long, but just so that you can remember that the focus is me, not you. And that's for my own good, for Eric's own good, and for his good, but really for Eric's good, that the focus on the Lord and not Eric. Because the moment that I start to do this stuff for myself, then I will have to sustain it by myself, and
that's not doable
to do that.
Yeah, we know that.
So I be taking breaks here and there. It's not because I'm not Playboy Cardi. I'm not any of these artists or whatever. I just sometimes it's like I'm not getting wrapped up in doing it, trying to promote myself for what it is that I care about for me. So yeah.
No, for sure. Do you feel like at first in your walk with the Lord, if he was saying something like that, like, okay, Eric, it's time to slow down, it's time to take this break and focus on me. Mm-hmm. Has it always been? So it seems like this most recent time, it was really easy for you to listen to that. It was really easy for you to be obedient in that because you were aware of how good it is for you. Mm-hmm. Has it always been like that? Or do you feel like earlier on, it was a little more difficult to want to listen to him in that way?
Yeah, I think I would say it's a trust thing because I've been like really, really like, devoted to the Lord for like maybe 5 years or now, 5 years or so. So it hasn't been like, I'm not a super seasoned veteran or anything like that.
No, but
I think, say like when I first started, so like, and this isn't just like with photos in general or like work or photography, whatever in general, but this is just in life.
Yeah.
I think, I've always been used to like doing my own things my own way by my own justification. And I would only do things to get results that I knew I could see or I knew I could I could attain by myself. So like following the Lord is really asked me, hey, you have to take the reins off. I have to take the reins off of everything.
Yeah.
And I cannot go by my own sight. I cannot go by my own ways, and I cannot go by my own, like what I'm used to, whatever.
Right.
And because of that, it's like I had trouble like trusting initially, because I would be like, well, I don't know what this is going to look like. I don't trust that you see better for me more than I do.
Right. It's so much easier to focus on what's right in front of me. Like,
yeah. And it's
I
like,
got this.
if I get the result that I know I can get, I'm going to be good with that. But I can't peep that you see better for me more than I see for myself. So that was the thing.
Took some time to adjust to that.
Yeah. So when the Lord started to really like, work in my heart and work on my mind, so that it was okay for me to not be to not be afraid of releasing my future to Him, it got easier for me to do. So now I'm just like, whenever He calls me for a break, whenever He calls me to do anything, now I'm like, okay, even if I don't know what this looks like, I know that you do.
Right.
Because
you see the end game, or you may not see the end game, but you trust and know
that somebody does.
That
the one
the one who's
person
supposed to
has it. So for me, it wasn't always like that, because we trust in the Lord that we can't see. You know what I'm saying? And for people in general, their vision is the thing that they trust the most.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, see it, believe it.
Yeah.
So for us, like, we believe what we don't see, and that's just very antithetical to what we get taught.
And I think,
outside,
I mean, the scripture itself, talks about walking by faith, not sight.
Yeah.
So I think that goes hand in hand with what you're saying. So that's
exactly.
fire, man. Mr. Eric, I got to ask, man, for someone who's watching this episode, they may not know who you are, man, or like really how you came to follow Jesus and how you have gotten so good to doing like what you do today in the like photograph space, and even just more like as a follower, as a believer, because you also serve in your church, you also do other things. So like, what got you here? Like, correct me if I'm wrong, you're not from Texas, are you?
Nah, I'm from the Bay Area.
Hey, shout out to the Bay one time, for real. And if you need proof, we're gonna get footage of this man sneezing after this. You'll know instantly.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm playing.
Nah.
Yeah,
I'm from San Jose, California.
Okay, cool. Shout out to the Bay, for real. So when did you move here, and what did that look like, and how did you come, or how did Jesus make His way into your heart?
Dang. We get to tell that story.
Okay. You don't got to go into details. You don't got to make it long. But I think this is a good place to start before we start talking about who you are today.
Yeah. No, I feel you. It's just so. There's just. I moved to Texas in 2016.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, 2016 to start going to.
It's a great year for music, by the way. Like, for me, like at the time, like I was still like bumping like nothing but secular music in 2016, and I just feel like
2016 was a year.
I just feel like there were so many iconic albums.
2016 was a very influential year. That's
for sure.
In music, in the world, and culture. But yeah, nah. So I moved out here. Into my first year was 2016.
Okay.
That's when I started going to school. I went to UNT.
Let's go.
And I would just say like, me going to UNT, me moving to Texas, like. There's so many points in that time period of me being in school, me recently graduating, that like the Lord would show that He was after me from like when I was a freshman. And even before I even knew what He looked like or what His nature was, or like the people that He would use to like speak to me or just remind me that He was there. Like, even before I even was taught to recognize those things, it's like I can look to even stuff I was doing like as a freshman and say like He was always like
in the mix,
not just in the mix, chasing after me, but not like He let me come to Him
for sure. And He's gonna do that,
So yeah, there's like conversations. There's people I can mention. I met my pastor at UNT. He graduated the year before me.
Let's go.
My church started as a ministry on the UNT campus. So
wow.
But yeah, and it's like I would put people in, my homies would invite me to church for like a year and a half. I wouldn't go. I'd make up whatever. I'd be like, I have homework. No, I was one of them. So can you repeat your question again?
Yeah, for sure. If I can remember it. No, I'm playing. Basically, man, I'm talking about, so how did Jesus find His way into your heart around
in
that transition coming from, coming from the Bay and everything.
So like around like 2019, like I had just graduated college and I had moved back to California for a little bit.
Nice.
And during that time, I had experienced like a lot of like very, very serious like emotional distress because I was, among other things, I was going through like a serious like life transition, not just going from like in school to graduate or whatever, but I didn't really have a lot of direction for what it was I was going to be doing after. And I had graduated, but I had no sense of like fulfillment, accomplishment, even though like I had a lot going for me. If you looked at me from the outside, on the inside, I felt like I had no self-worth. I had no like intrinsic value outside of like my external accomplishments. And I didn't really feel like I had a reason to be around if I wasn't doing something for someone else. You know what I'm saying? So it was really difficult because in the first time, like I didn't have control over what I was going to be doing next, where I was going to move or anything. So I experienced like a serious period of like emotional distress, major depressive disorder, a lot of stuff. And that had gone on for like a 6-month period until I had moved back here. And then I had started going, like, I had finally relented on all of my people's invites to church, and I had finally started going. So this is around like December. And December 2019, January 2020 was when like I fully just like
dove in,
gave it all away.
That's fire.
Because it was so, I just felt like I had met my point, like my end.
Yeah.
In terms of like my own effort, like I had no more to give because everything I would try, every job I would apply to, everything I would try to do to like, you know, get myself up on my own self, like it just was not working. And the worse that it got, the worse that I felt. So, cause I just had I had none more in me. And that's how it was supposed to be because the Lord met me when I had nothing else in me. And he gave me all that I have. So.
Man, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So
that's real.
Nah, so like that 2020, even though that's a year, you feel me?
Of course.
So, but I could say that was one of the transformative years of my life because that was the year that I learned that I don't have to have anything in my own hands for it to be safe, for me to feel safe, and for me to feel like I'm not by myself.
For sure.
Yeah.
You really grew in your relationship with God.
I had a whole new friend group. I had a whole new community. Like people who showed me that, that I didn't have to figure this stuff out.
So life was really blossoming and changing on the inside and the outside.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly. And then like all the stuff that I worried about, all of my, like a lot of my fears, a lot of my concerns, like the weight of those, my life was a lot lighter.
Nice.
So I wasn't so afraid to be seen all the time. And I wasn't so afraid of not having all the time. Whether I had, whether I didn't have, whether I had money, whether I didn't have money, I had the Lord. And I was okay.
That became
the
most important thing.
That became the only thing. And it was straight. And for me, that was the first time that I experienced like the contentment that Paul talks about in Philippians.
Yeah.
I think it's either Philippians 2 or Philippians 4, where he talks about whether I have or I don't have, I have the Lord and I'm okay.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys sending me this, but even if you didn't send me,
we're straight.
I would be here. So I never experienced contentment, and the contentment was the thing that helped me. So,
no, that's real.
That's really what it was. So,
Is that around the time that camera found its way into your hands, or was that?
Or
was that something before?
So TV. So the thing is, I only started taking pictures for real in this capacity because during the pandemic, our church. We didn't have church for like a year.
Right. Yeah, most churches.
Yeah, so we didn't have church. So we didn't have church for like a year. So 2021 comes and we like, because we had switched buildings and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So like all of our meeting and stuff was like from like 2 years ago. And our pastors, Pastor Josh, Pastor Misi from Faithful Church in Louisville.
Hey, shout out to Faithfield one time. Pastors, if y'all hear this one time.
Yeah. So, so we had our building.
Everything, the media was old and everything.
Yeah, so our media was old. And we had just got a new building, So I was just like, I had bought a camera like a year ago.
Okay.
I had bought like a camera like a year ago for like 600 or so, like small little camera, whatever. And I was like, let's just, set up a little, little backdrop in like our church, on our building, whatever. I'll just buy like the flash, like something like this here.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yeah, let's just take the pics. Let's just take it like, pics of the pastor that we can put on the flyers and on the IGs, and that's it. And that's all I was trying to do. So I took those, and then my pastor was like, Eric, bro,
He's like, you cooking?
these are too good for you to just. And I really was
Wow.
like, I am not trying to. I did it for y'all. It was a favor.
That was it.
That's all I'm trying to do. And he was like, Eric, like you have to like.
Wow.
These are too like. You have to like try to tell people that you do this. And I was like, I really don't want to. And he was like, Eric, you're gonna do this. And I was like, I'm not doing it. And my pastor was like, Eric, you're gonna do this. And I was like, I'm not finna not be
obedient.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I said whatever. So I literally was like, whatever. I'm only doing this because you told me to. And if I don't, it's gonna be more beef between me and you. So I said bet.
Facts,
I really wasn't. I'm not.
You weren't pushing for nothing
No,
like that.
I'm just cool being in my church. I was serving
Yeah,
in
yeah.
like other places. I was cool. I promise I was cool. I was not trying to do this. So, and then 2021, that's when I was like, okay, I take pictures if you want. That's when I started telling people.
Hit me up.
And then Jay Woods invited me. He was like, yeah, like, or no, it was Ferd. I don't know if you know Ferd.
I want to say I don't know who. Well, okay, I don't know who it is, but I want to say I've heard the name.
I feel like you know him. But yeah, Ferd is one of Jay Woods' homies. And he was like, yeah, we're doing a show.
Oh, Fern. Yes.
Yeah, we're doing a show in Fort Worth.
Yep.
Which ended up being Gifted, the first Gifted. He was like, you want to come? So that's when I met, like, so he was like, yeah, come and take pics. So you're trying to practice how to take pics. And I said, yeah, okay, I'll come. So that's when I met Jay Hill, Jay Woods, Mikey, all them. And I took pictures for that show. And you guys.
Was that your first show?
That was my first show.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I was just like, and the pictures weren't good, but you guys didn't tell me the truth. But that's kind of how it started. So that's kind of how it started.
Bro, I need to see these pictures, bro. I need to see.
You don't.
I need to see. I need to see where we started, bro.
I mean, you can see where we started, but I'm just joking.
Nah.
But they're on the internet. Jay Woods has them.
No, for sure.
Nah, he posted them. I said, please, can you take these down? He said, no, we got to see where we started. I said, these. But
that's funny.
But yeah, that's how I started taking pics for, like, because I've always been like a music fan and a live music fan. Like even before I even started caring about the Lord, like music has always been my thing.
For sure.
Live music concerts have always been like where my heart is.
Same, bro. I had that same in college and all that, man. Just going to shows was like,
that
was my thing, bro.
Dude, so like I love going to shows, and I've always loved like going to shows, music journalism, everything about that.
Fire.
So yeah, so when I started, that was kind of how it started, and then I just didn't stop. I just didn't.
Bro, I would say if that was 2021, it seems like, outside looking in, it seems like you like, not only did you not stop, bro, you ramped up like quick. Like how long did it take before you found yourself, or did you ever have that moment of just like taking a picture of someone, a certain artist, maybe someone you used to listen to, and then you were like, how did I get here? Like this had to be God.
I was
like, did you ever have that moment?
Dang, I have those moments. Yes, I remember the first for real.
Let's hear it, man.
I think it was Wande the rap. Okay, it was a Nikkei. Let me not back then.
Oh yeah,
called Wande.
FKA Wande.
Yeah. So let me not. Yes, it was a Nikkei back then when she was called Wande before she changed her name.
Yeah.
I think she had come to some church in like. I think, do you know the church Crossroads in Grand Prairie?
I do, off of 360.
Yeah. In like 2022, and or maybe 2021, 2022, something like that. And like that was one of the first times I was like, because I've been listening to her since even before like I had started caring about Christ. I had known of her.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's real.
So I was like, this is for me, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
I was like, dude. And then I remember like the first time like Miles them invited me to Glowfest, and I had met like I forgot who performed there, but Miles, John Keith, all them. Like I remember the first time I had met some of them, I was like, I'm here in the flesh. This is crazy. So
for sure.
So that was the first time that I was like, man, because I have been Wanda's been on my playlist since like Blessed Up. You know what I'm saying? I've had John Keith back when he had the blonde
honey blonde.
Yeah. Like that's like I would never think that I would like even be around
Wow.
in that space at all. So
No, that's
like,
fire.
that's like 2022 doing a couple shows here and there that I was like, man, this is crazy because these are people who are on. Hovey is another one that I've been peeping since like
The
I had
jump.
been listening to him since like 2019 or so is when I heard it.
Wow.
I remember like Lecrae. I had bought Anomaly on CD when it came out
Crazy.
in 2014 in October. So
Oh wait, you've been at a you shot for Lecrae like while he was on stage?
when you know, because there was that smoke in 2023.
Oh, that's right.
yeah,
Yeah. Because I saw you at Smoke.
Yeah. So
That's
I had, you know, I had bought the Anomaly on CD in 2014.
Wow.
So I was like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, full circle
So-
because that's almost 10 years later. It's like
Yeah, and that was back. I didn't even care about Christ like that,
wow,
but I had known of Lecrae.
for sure,
So
for sure.
it's-
No, that's full
anytime
circle
I have
for real.
moments, anytime I have moments like that, I'm like, that is Jude. I've met Jude Barclay.
Yeah.
Like I've listened to Jude Barclay since 2020. Like it's crazy. Nah, it's
Crazy.
so yeah. No, so those are like moments where I'm just like, I don't care about like how famous or not famous you are as an artist or whatever. Like even like me like Mikey or like Jay or Jordan or anything like that. Like
It's the fact that like you know them as the artist, but then you also know them as a person.
yeah, no, like these are
So it's
they're
like-
in my playlist.
it's
Like, I
a
just
it's
peep
a
it,
moment.
so-
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I got a question. You having like, being led to Christ at a young adult age, and always having that passion for music. So you kind of got one foot into both worlds in a sense. Like you're familiar with like secular music. You're familiar with the CHH space and all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
Have you felt? Because we know God works in mysterious ways. Has there been a time when you doing photography has actually like planted seeds of like God's love, or like even led someone to Christ through that? Or what's the story you have about that? Or if there is.
I would say, I mean, for me, like again, like I did not start like taking pics trying to be famous or anything like that.
No, for sure.
So for me, it's like anything that I do or anywhere that I'm at, I always try to remember that I am
Like a vessel.
representing Christ, not just myself. And like everywhere that I'm at, whether I'm in like a quote unquote secular space or I'm in a quote unquote Christian space, I have to remember that like the light of the Lord is inside me.
Exactly.
And I have to act like that at all times. So whether it's just with my interactions or how I regard people, or how I respect have to respect like the boundaries of people, whatever, or just like using any opportunity to connect with people and show them that they don't have to do anything for
Yeah.
their own merit. So I have moments like that every so often. I don't think I have a particular moment where someone gave their life to the Lord
Right.
in that thing, but I always try to let everyone know that I'm around, that hey, like so and so may be out doing this for their own recognition or whatever, but for me it's like whether you tag me or not, I'm not gonna be tripping because it's not about
Yeah. Nah,
need to, like-
you're a humble man, at heart.
me. So
And you always, I would say, ever since I met you, bro, and just like working with you and doing things, being around you, I've been to, like, some of my homies have booked you for photo shoots, and I'll show up just to like hang out. So in like every interaction, of course, you help us. You shoot for Outlandish. You've done a couple years. So like in every interaction I've been around, or just running into you at Smoke, I can say, man, personally, like you do a good job of just letting that light shine through you, in a mature way, but like low key. You know what I mean?
I appreciate
So that's real. That's real.
trying, so.
Mr. Eric, man, who has been your favorite person to shoot for? Like, who really blew you away with their character, and what's been the best experience you've had, like in an event?
What's the best experience I've had in an event? Or who's my favorite to shoot for?
Like, what was the most? Because I know, look, I'm not no photographer, but I know, like, doing it, there's some where you're taking pictures and you're just taking pictures, and there's some where you're like, oh yeah, like you're into it. You know what I mean? So like, or maybe not with you, but for me, I feel like every shooter kind of has that kind of dynamic range. So what's one of those ones that you can remember that really had you like going, where it was like more than just work? It was like a moment.
I would say, yeah,
Yeah, we just lost our monitor, but it's okay. That's so you know, that's what happened on this side.
I would say Well, that's the thing. Miles Minnick is from the Bay Area.
For sure.
So it's like he and I, like his like childhood home in the Bay Area and my childhood home in the Bay Area are like not even 15 minutes apart.
Wow.
So like he makes a lot of music that like he makes music that's inspired by the music that I grew up listening to from like middle school.
Crazy.
So whenever he performs, it's a big deal for me because it's a big deal for me because it, like a lot of stuff that he does tells me like, hey, where we come from, people like they don't like even representing where we come from.
Really?
We represent the Bay Area at large, but the small town called Antioch, where we're from, people like are in Antioch to get out of Antioch. Or they're
Interesting.
in Pittsburgh to get out of Pittsburgh. Like they don't like people like who are not who are from there. They'll say they're from another city. Or
What?
yeah. It's just if you're from Antioch, you know. If you're from Pittsburgh, if you're from whatever, you know.
That's
So,
interesting. That's interesting.
That's to say, like when he performs or like how he's grown his stuff, that's a big deal for me because that tells me like people from our tiny little spot can like
can really go.
yeah
Or
yeah.
really
So
glow. Nah. Hold on, that boy.
yeah, no, for real. So so that's so whenever he to answer your question, whenever he performs,
It was a whole
because he makes a lot of the music like inspired by a lot of stuff that I listened to growing up.
for sure.
John Keith as well. Anytime he performs, because he's a really good performer.
He is.
So whenever whenever I do any of his shows, those are always a big deal to me because it's like he really, really knows how to perform. And he even me like working. There's some people where it's like I'm just kind of there, but for when I'm doing his stuff,
It's
I'm in the crowd with them,
you're
you know what I'm
engaged.
saying? So and I actually like shows where I can do that more often. So
for sure. Did you John Keith just came to Dallas not too long ago. He did a listening party
yeah,
for his
yeah.
upcoming album. Did you make it to that?
Yeah, I was there.
Okay, cool.
I was there. So-
I didn't make it, but how was that?
Nah, it was fun. It was fun. It's always cool to see. I love listening parties. I love intimate spaces. I
Of
love
course.
anytime that anyone, whether it's music, whether it's like visual art, whether it's like you paint, you draw, whatever, anytime that you are open enough to share your stuff in a space like that, it's really scary because it's
Definitely.
like you don't know how people are going to react. This stuff that you really care about. So I always try to honor those arenas and those spaces because I know how big of a deal it is just to show your heart on your, you know.
That's that artist mutual respect. Like no matter what the medium is, just respecting it in the sense that I'm the same way. Like sometimes I'll like photos on Instagram, not because I like the photo,
yeah,
but I like what they're saying with it. You know, it's like something I can respect. And I'm the same way with art too. Like even if like let's say I was at a listening party, even if I didn't like the music necessarily, or it wasn't like my first, it didn't really get me going, I'm gonna have fun and I'm gonna respect it because I like the fact that they're bold enough to like, you know,
and it's like that's a big deal.
That's a big deal.
It's a big deal because it's like you might have been scared to show anyone this, you know.
Facts.
So I peeped that and I messed with that. So
That's love.
yeah, so
I feel like you're the perfect you as a person. I feel like you so you know, you blend the world of music and photography, like a perfect example of it because you're so into both. You said something about influence or inspiration a little bit earlier, so I wanted to take it back to the photography world. Is there anybody that you follow on IG or like that you keep up with that just really inspires you as far as like how you do your work and what style of picture you like to put out?
I feel you. Okay, so there's this concert photographer. His name is Christian Sarkeen. He goes by Christian.x on IG.
Okay.
He is like, I look at his stuff like
Grail?
like Jason Tatum looks at Kobe Bryant.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
For me, my thing is like if my pics were to look at half as good as his,
Then you're doing good.
I know that. Like I don't need to go above that.
For sure.
So for me, like not that I ever want to copy anyone else or copy anyone else's stuff, but for me, like there's a standard.
It went out again.
For me, there's a standard in terms of like just like creativity, quality, excellence, consistency that like him. Jen D photography. That's another one.
That's a female, Jen?
Yeah,
Okay,
she's a woman. Faith Win Photos. There's so many people. There's so many people that I like.
So, but you got like a collective batch of like, these are the people doing it. You know, they're doing great.
Yeah, and like it's particularly for music and live music photography. Christian is like he doesn't. I don't know him personally, but he is like for me like the standard. Every time that
Yeah.
I try to put up any of my own stuff, I'm like, I want this to be my own version of how good his stuff is.
For sure.
And that's kind of how with anything. I have that for like studio and film work. Another great photographer is Daniel Soba.
Okay.
He does like more studio where he doesn't really do music or anything like that. But he was the first one that showed me that like this level of quality is touchable for me.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I love like following like people who are operating on that type of level because it tells me like, okay, this is how you got to be to be like that. But people like Daniel, I've been following him since like 2016.
Oh wow.
And I know him personally, so it's like for him, he's always been an inspiration because I'm like, okay, this is touchable. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And anything I see on IG, I'm like, this is touchable. So yeah, those are some.
That's what's up. Hey, shout out to everybody. If he mentioned you, if he didn't mention you, man, just know you're doing a good thing.
No, please. If I didn't, because I don't know, I can look up.
You're doing a good thing. You're doing a good thing hooking up my boy because his stuff, as far as I know, man, I'll put it to you like this: when it comes to DFW, man, you are not the 3, not the 2, you the UNO. You know what I mean? Like the numeral.
I appreciate that.
You know,
but there's so many cold people out here.
Oh, there's a lot of cold shooters.
There's so many.
But yeah, you know, it is what it is. But look, here's what I gotta ask, bro. We know that live events is probably your main squeeze. Would you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's number 2? Would it be studio portraits? Would it be weddings? Would it be landscape? What do you like to do secondary?
I love being in the studio. I love portraits. I love shooting with film as well.
Okay.
So I love shooting with film. I love being in the studio, whether that's like shooting for like campaigns or like brands or whatever.
Yeah.
I love that too. I would say I like doing events as well, just like, you know, your regular events.
Right.
But yeah, really music and music journalism are really my 2. And then after that, I love being in the studio and I love shooting with film.
That's
so
tough.
Those are like kind of my 3 and my 4. So
cool, man. I love to hear it. Mr. Eric, we've had a couple of phone calls before and we get really nerdy about shoes, man, shoe game and all that good stuff.
Yeah,
so we got to let the people know. I know personally you've been picking up some heat this year.
How do you know that?
Man, hey, you posted, bro. You posted on your story, bro. Or no. Here's what it is. You buy it from this dude. He posted on his story, tags you, and then you repost it.
LOL.
So we see it, bro. We peep the game, but
being perceived.
I need to understand one time, man, what has been your number 1 pickup of all time, and then what's been your number 1 pickup this year? And then I got some more follow-up questions, but we'll start there.
I'm being perceived. Here's the thing. I post on IG like it's me and like the 5 homies.
Yeah, facts.
And I have like 2,500 followers. So it's like I be forgetting that people
really see.
And I be like, I thought it was just me and my 2 friends that care about my stuff. So, but nah, my homie from high school, his name is Joseph. His name is Joe. He goes by JKL_goods on IG.
For sure.
And he's actually that's just my friend.
Oh,
that's
okay.
just he like, so it's so funny because like he was the one, he and like our group of friends, but really him was the one who like put me on to like sneakers and stuff like that all the way back in like 10th grade.
Wow.
So like, cause he had all the shoes that I want to get now, he had those.
Crazy.
Like he would sell his PlayStation for shoes. Like he really loves, like shoes are his thing. Sneakers are his thing. So he's the one who like anything that I like, it's only because he's the one who put me onto that genre.
Let's go.
So so now he sells a whole bunch of stuff now. So
yeah, big time.
But I mean, my favorite shoe that I've ever bought,
I know it can be hard to have just one. If there's 2 or 3,
well,
I understand.
So I bought the 2021. I have an answer for this. The first shoe that I ever bought with like my own money.
That's like, a good feeling.
Not just that, but like I bought them. It was a gift to myself saying like, okay, you saved this amount of money.
Yeah.
You got past this. You're at a point emotionally where you don't spend for like you don't spend
Provide.
Emotionally.
Yeah.
So it's like you financially you've matured a little bit. You can go and spend a little extra. So I bought the UNC to Chicago Jordan 1, the black pair.
Okay.
And that shoe, It's just so
High
that
top,
shoe
high
is
top, of course.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
That shoe is so that shoe is so hard. Oh
go.
my goodness. Maybe not everyone thinks it's hard, but that shoe is just so hard. And the fact that was the first that I was like, yeah, this is the one that the first one I'm
Yeah.
about my own stuff that's a little expensive.
So I'm a little new to the game, so I actually don't know what the shoe looks like off the top of my dome. But you said UNC to Chicago. Is it like red and blue
Yeah, yeah. So it's a red and blue with the black.
the
base.
black?
It's a Jordan 1
with the black what?
with the black base.
Crazy. So they made a white pair too.
Yeah, there's a white pair too, but the white pair isn't. To me, the black pair is better.
Is where it's at. Okay,
So,
let's go. All
yeah,
right.
you could. Are you gonna? Can you put that on the screen?
I'm gonna put it up.
Okay, for sure.
I might
Nah,
edit
that
it.
shoe is hard.
I might
That
edit
shoe
it
is
in there.
crazy.
Yeah.
So, and then the shoe that I picked, I also have the Jordan 4 Nike SB.
Yeah, the navy,
So,
right?
Yeah, yeah, and I really like that shoe. I've been wanting that shoe since they put out the green pair.
Yeah,
But that green pair is
green pair was
unattainable.
like,
It's unattainable. You don't like it?
oh, I'm not crazy about it.
No, that green pair is hard.
For real?
That green pair is better than the one that I have.
What?
I just know that green pair is unattainable.
Yeah, it's
But,
like
I mean, they're both nasty. But yeah, like I've been wanting that shoe for so long. I also love like Nike SB.
yeah, in general, like
and
the dunks.
skateboarding in general. So
Let's go.
so yeah, I have like SB Blazers. I have SB Dunks.
Fire.
I've been wearing SB. I wear Janoskis.
Yeah. I remember when those were
Yeah.
major.
The SB Stephon Janoski. I've owned like 3 pairs of
Bro, I
those.
always wanted a
So-
pair. You know, I never got one of the Janowskis.
I think you're okay. They're really uncomfortable.
But they're like
But they're
they were so
so
staple.
hard.
That's what I'm
Oh.
saying, bro.
I've had Paul Rodriguez, the P
Yeah, the
Rods.
P-Rods, yeah.
I've been wearing SBs for a minute. So like for them to put SB on a Jordan, I was like,
I have to get
yeah,
these.
nah. So that shoe is a huge deal.
that's
for me.
fire.
So yeah,
All right,
those
let
are
me-
my 2.
Let me hit you with this. This is a follow up. What is the most you've ever spent on a pair of sneakers?
That I'm willing to admit. So the UNC to Chicago, I bought that during like when Jordan 1s were at their peak.
Yeah.
2021. So I spent like 4.
That's up there.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah, it was like
what's up.
400.
That's what's up. I got you. Man. Man, is there anything on your mind? Anything you showed up today? You didn't know what to expect, man. You've been such a treat for us, having you on the show and just opening up, man, people that don't know you, sharing a little bit of your story. But is there anything you had on your mind when you came here that's like, hey, I kind of want to talk about this today?
I would say we can discuss for a little bit. Maybe for you. You're a musician.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Let's talk
saying?
about it.
So we can talk about how are you a musician how do you maintain your Christianity being a musician?
Ooh,
You know what I'm saying?
y'all see what just happened? He just switched spots with me. He
Oh,
asked me the question. Now it's on.
No,
now I'm the special guest. No, I'm
I
playing.
thought that's what you told me to do.
Yeah, no, facts. No, that's a great question, and it's so interesting. Michael knows all about it too. Like being on this show,
Yeah.
that's one of the constant topics. It always, and especially too because, and I've explained this before to some people, the way the podcast is growing and the way our culture and our audience are like coming to be, I've never really had to send no crazy emails or like pay nobody to be a guest or nothing crazy like that. I've literally been blessed to where every single guest so far, all 20 people so far, you being 21, of course, I've actually just been people I know and have some sort of relationship with.
Yeah.
And so because of that, most of the common ground is in music. And because of that, what you just asked me is one of the like continuing topics of what we've been talked about. But basically, man, to answer it, like
do you ever feel like man, I gotta step out to grow my stuff? That's a big deal. So
okay, wait, expound on that. Like step out of the faith or step out of the world
no, step out of the faith.
to grow. To get like more fans.
Yeah.
No.
You never decided that?
No.
Not
Like,
even in your flesh.
I feel like personally, so like if you go back and listen to my music, and especially like my newest song, which I'm very proud of, shout out to Real Jewelry. Go stream it one time. It just came out last week. You feel me? I feel like I'm just being myself, and I know my relationship with God, and the last few years even have been like such a journey for me. Because I don't know if you know about my story, but like I was from ages like 14 to 21. I was pretty much doing drugs and alcohol like every day. And when I was 21, I checked myself into a men's home, a faith-based rehab. Made it like 5 years sober. Then I got out of the home, and then ever since then, I've kind of just been readjusting in life. That's like the short version. But even in that readjustment period, man, I've like hit my head a few times, and I've like learned some things and had some hills and valleys. You know what I mean? Dang, where's I going with that? But like, oh yeah, so how that reflects in my music is like, I know where I'm at today with God, and just building on my relationship on a daily basis. It may not sound like that in my music, but nobody who listens to my music really knows like how I am with God. You know what I mean? And then I don't feel like I need to overly Christianize my music to be accepted by the church. And I feel like I don't need to talk about lean and cuss to be accepted by more fans out there. I feel like if I can just be Jariah and make sure that my heart is in a good place, whatever comes out, comes out. You know what I mean? And it's cool. And now at the same time, I'm not going to cross no moral boundaries though. You know what I mean? Like I definitely don't. I'm definitely not like, yeah, we are getting money, getting women. Like that's crazy. Like I'm a married man, you know, who's a contractor, like like a contract worker. You feel me? Now, will I talk about funds and finances sometimes in the music? Sure, but it's never from a like derogatory place.
For sure. No,
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. I don't know, cause but I know what you mean though, because I've seen on like both sides of the spectrum. I've seen like, extreme Christian music where it's like, I pray in tongues and I cast out demons and I'm like, and that's kind of cool, you know, for them. Now, but then there's like two sides of that. Now we dissect it. One, is that really true? Two, is that really necessary? Then I see people who are like, cuss this, you know,
but they still
smoke this, but they still call themselves Christian rappers.
I feel you.
But then I see like then there's a whole third world that people aren't even talking about, especially people like in our hemisphere, of like secular artists that like grew up in church and they don't call themselves CHH at all, but their music is actually really positive, really uplifting, and it doesn't cuss and it's not about sex or drugs, but they have nothing to do with CHH. So it's really interesting, bro. Like and then under all three of those, then there's like 4 more under each one. You feel me? So
no, I get you.
That's something that's like, it's deep, it's layered.
No, it's layered for sure. I was gonna say, I think the biggest thing there is like authenticity.
Yeah, facts.
Just because I think for me, for the stuff that I do, the thing that matters for me is like, I asked that question because like I know for me, it's like Jesus Christ, like he didn't just like clean the heart that I have, like he gave me a new heart.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I can't be myself without being in him. So everything that I do, everything that I am is in him.
Yeah.
So when I'm being in him, that's when I'm really being myself.
Yourself.
So it's like that, especially if you are putting out anything like artistic, that you say you want to represent a certain thing and it is the real you. For me, the real me is in Christ. Him. So it's like, hey, that's how I have to be at all times for anything that I do, to bear any fruit, to work on anything. You feel me? To touch anyone for any reason. It has to be in him, because in him is where I first resided. So
man, I really like what you just said, man. I've never heard anybody like put it like that. And I think that's really good, bro. I'm that dealt with me, took me to another understanding just now, just even as you were saying it. So I really appreciate that, man.
Nah, for sure, bro.
That's real,
bro.
Man. Mr. Eric, nah, you real. Hey, man. One time, man, I got to do it for you because you're so humble. You're not gonna do it yourself. If you need any photography, any kind of services, this is the plug right here. If you live in Dallas, Fort Worth, we're gonna put his Instagram in the descriptions, and y'all hit him up, man. He's gonna get you right. But before I say my final goodbye, which is not gonna be very long, Eric, there's your camera right there. If you want to just shout out your IG or shout out anybody that might be watching, or if there's something on your heart, any little nugget of wisdom you want to give to the people, man, that's all you.
For sure. Okay. My name is Eric. I take pics, and I love Jesus Christ. My Instagram is Wokocha, NWOKLCHA, 2 underscores at the end. I think I love my friends. I love the Lord. I love everybody who's watching. Like, please,
Let's
like,
go.
I would say, okay, another thing, anyone who's in the middle of whatever, it's like, you don't have to do this, John, but you don't have to do anything or live by yourself like there's no future for your tomorrow. Because there's hope for tomorrow if you put everything that you have in the hands of the Lord. So that's what I would say. That's what I would say. But besides that, I mean, I think that's all that I have.
I love it. Well put. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here live on Grace and Good Friends, the podcast, season 2. We've been going hard, and don't forget, put everything you have in the Lord's hands. I'm Jariah. This is Eric. We're out. Peace.